Good afternoon, everyone. So today I am going to be starting something new with my channel. I'm going to be doing a Throwback Thursday story for everyone. And this hair just keeps standing upright. There we go. So what this is going to be is every Thursday I'm going to go and I'm going to tell a story about something in my past so that all of you get to know me a little bit better. I guess we could start off with where I've come from in my past to where I am now. When I was a teenager, I was very rebellious. I was not the child that you wanted to have. I caused a lot of problems for people, and I'm sorry, but I'm going to be lighting a candle because it's... Which one? I'm going to do my peony. So, I was drinking in school. I was just this child that was lashing out, trying to get help from people, trying to get attention from my mother, and a lot of it stems from that. My mother and we do not have a healthy relationship by any means. It's horrible that, to have that type of non-type of relationship with your mother. And everything that I did, I was reaching out for help. I was wanting the attention of my mother. I wanted my mother to be a mother to me. So when I want to say 11 or 12, I started drinking. And I would take water bottles to school, and they would have vodka in it, tequila in it, anything in it that could be either clear or look like it was tea. So I was really lashing out, trying to get the help that I needed, and nothing seemed to work. She was just in her own mind doing whatever she wanted to do. She didn't care enough about me to realize that I was going down a path that was going to possibly ruin the rest of my life. She was an alcoholic herself. She still is. Does she think she is? No. From my standpoint, from a lot of people's standpoint, yes, she is. She has gotten a lot better since my children have been born, since my brother's son has been born. She has gotten a lot better. She isn't the same type of person she was when we were growing up. I think that's why I allow my children to be around her, because she is a better grandmother than she is a mother. But when I was a junior in high school, I was having a lot of problems psychologically and physically. The physical came from somebody else's hands. When I was younger, I was molested by one of my uncles. When I started drinking, it was because my stepbrother was molesting me and raping me. I tried telling my mother everything that was going on, but she refused to listen to me because she was happy. She found a man that loved her, and that was more important than my safety. Now, I love my stepdad. I love him tremendously. He is an amazing stepdad. I am grateful for everything he has done for me. I am not putting any blame on him whatsoever. What I'm putting blame on is my mother. As a parent, you are supposed to protect your child, and she failed to do that. And she finally realized what was going on. I finally told her what was going on after my oldest son was born. So 10 years ago, because his birthday was just a few days ago. So 10 years ago, my mother and I decided to go to counseling to see if we could reconcile and bring our relationship closer together. And it can't. It's never going to be the way it should be. And I'm okay with that. I've learned to move on from that. But I finally told her what had happened, and she goes, I knew something was going on. I just didn't want to believe it. No, she knew something was going on. She just didn't want her life to get interrupted because she actually found somebody that could love her 100% truly love her as she was and wanted her to be happy, so she didn't have to give up her lifestyle, because this guy, my stepdad, loves her so much and he just wants her to be happy, even though if going out to the bar every single night and my video is slowed. Yep, it is behind. But my stepdad wanted her to be so happy. It didn't matter where she was, what she was doing. As long as it made her happy, it makes him happy. To me, that's not a healthy relationship at all. Not at all. But to each their own. That's how he wants to live. That's how she wants to live. I can't live like that. Anywho, things seemed to get better for a little while. And then my stepdad found out. Now, within this time, I had forgiven my stepbrother for what he had done. And it had taken me years. I got something in my tooth. Anyways, it had taken me years to forgive him, and it is still there. I'm sorry. I can't do a video with something in my teeth. Alright. So it had taken me years to forgive him. And the only reason that I did forgive him is because I got sober. Now, it wasn't because I had a problem. Yes, okay, let me rephrase that. I can have a drink, one drink, and stop. I am not an alcoholic. I rarely ever drink. Now, it's funny because people are like, really, you hardly ever drink? You're always talking about different beers, and you and Jeremy like breweries, and you're getting married in a brewery. I hardly ever drink. I think the last time I had a drink was probably 3 months ago. I don't drink that often because I don't want to end up like my mother. I don't want my kids growing up the way that I grew up. Cats are fighting, but I just don't want that. I don't want my kids to live the way that I lived. I don't want them to go through what I went through. I'm breaking the cycle right here, right now. But I completely lost my train of thought. Drinking, it's... My stepdad found out about what happened, and it caused a lot of problems, and I was pretty much told that I was a liar. My mother finally said that I was a habitual liar. She said she didn't believe me, that I was just making it up because I was trying to get my stepdad to do whatever I wanted him to do. In a sense, I was trying to just get everything handed to me like I'm a spoiled, rotten child. Not the case at all. Not the case at all. I wanted to actually have a relationship with my mother. I wanted to be able to call her up and be like, hey mom, da 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 da, this is what's going on. I can't do that. I can't call her. I can't talk to her about anything. I have a better relationship with my stepdad after he found everything out. But it took a long time for us to get back to that point. And like I was saying, I did forgive my stepbrother. Do I want to have any connection to him? Do I want to have any type of relation to him? Do I want to see him on holidays? Do I want to sit next to him at the dinner table during Thanksgiving? No, I want nothing to do with him. But I do understand how messed up he was at that time. He had personal stuff going on in his head that was causing him to do drugs, to drink, to numb himself. He was self-medicating to feel nothing. When you feel nothing, you do the dumbest, stupidest shit that you can do. And I didn't realize that until after I had Talon, my oldest, who just turned 10. And looking at my son, the day I gave birth to him, was the day that I just let it go with my stepbrother. I know that we went to, after Talon was born, my mother, my biological mother, and I went to therapy, and that's when we talked about it. But I only talked about it, I only brought it up because I was trying to bond, I was trying to fix everything with my mother. I was trying to let her know, look, this is why I did everything that I did. It wasn't because I hated you. It wasn't because of this. It was because I was lashing out. I was trying to get you to notice how much pain I was in. And she didn't care. She did not care. So, when I was 15, I was living with my dad and my stepmom, who I call mom. She has been there since I was 6. She is my mother. She's the person that I look up to as a mother. I'm gonna cry. My life had taken a really dark path. At 15, I was going to St. Mary's. My mother, before, was paying for my education because I was going to Catholic school. My dad and my stepmom, they really couldn't afford that type of education. So I was paying part of my own education. My grandmother was helping pay the other part. No 15-year-olds should have to pay for their own education. It should never happen. But I had good friends there that they were what was keeping me afloat. So we went to 2 years before that, my brother and I were in an accident, my biological brother, and I almost died. It was very traumatic for me, and I didn't want to drive. So, when I was 15, my dad and my stepmom signed me up for driver's ed, and they were like, no, you need to go do this. I had a panic attack walking into that classroom. I could not do it. I was not ready. And I remember getting back into my parents' car, and my stepmom saying, you're acting just like your mother. That is my biggest fear, is being anything like my mother. And it scared me. It scared me so much that when we got home, I went into my room, and back then we didn't have cell phones, So I called my friend. I had my own phone line, which, so I was talking to her, and I was telling her what I had done. And I had taken 2 bottles of pills, and I had tried slitting my wrist. I did not want to continue living if I was going to grow up to be like my mother. She told me, she's like, you need to go tell your parents what you did. Please go tell your parents what you did. And I didn't. I was just like, okay, I will. So I hung up the phone, and not even a minute later, she comes back and she goes, "Are you okay? Did you tell your parents?" And I was starting to get really sleepy and groggy, and she got scared. She hung up the phone with me again. She called my parents' line, and they came busting in, just panicking over what I had done. And I felt horrible by seeing that look on their face, because this is the second time now in 2 years that they had seen me slipping away. And they took me to the hospital, had my stomach pumped, they wrapped my wrist up, they made me go upstairs for a week to evaluate where I was at in my life, making sure that it was safe for me to go back home. And what really messed me up was, while I was downstairs in the emergency room after they had pumped my stomach, my mother, her name's Loopy, came in, and she looked at me and she goes, "Are you fucking kidding me? Are you happy now?" And started laughing in my face. Just laughed. So when I went upstairs, I was allowed to make a list of who I wanted to be able to come see me, and who I did not want to see me. I put her down as do not. I did not want to see her at all. I wanted nothing to do with her. It was very hard to look into a mirror knowing that I had a dad that loved me, I had a stepdad that loved me, and I had a stepmom that loved me. And I was putting them through this because I was trying to have a relationship with a woman who, when I was at my lowest, laughed in my face. What type of mother does that? You know, it was really hard to get through that. But I did because I had amazing friends that supported me. I had amazing parents, and my dad and my stepmom and my stepdad, that they supported me. They made sure that I was getting healthy. But after a couple months of being out, and Loopy, my biological mother, being back in my life, I started slipping down that slope again, and I started drinking again. I dropped out of school halfway through my junior year. I dropped out. I didn't go anywhere. I was done. I couldn't mentally handle anything anymore. I couldn't afford the school anymore. So I dropped out. I moved into my aunt's house, and I started working at a gas station during the midnights. And during that shift, I met my friend Roxanne, who just recently passed away, which I haven't grieved for her yet either, but she was amazing. But one night I met some guy, and instantly thought I was in love with him. But we bonded over our past, our pain, drinking and everything, and then it ended up not working out. So my grandma came and she was like, "Mia, what are you doing? You're throwing your life away. Go back home. Go back to school. And we will do what we can to make everything right." And I believed her because I loved her so much. And so I moved back home, graduated high school. I did my junior, senior year in one, and there was 3 people in that school because I ended up having to go to a different school. But there's 3 people in that school that if it was not for them, I wouldn't have made it. It was my friend Veronica, my friend Rob, and my friend Stephanie. And had it not been for them, I would not be here today. But after high school, we did start all drifting away. We all started growing up and, doing our own thing. Stephanie and I went to one school. Veronica went to the other, and Rob didn't. Rob always did his own thing. But a friend of mine that I had gone to grade school with, we started hanging out again and everything, and she introduced me to some not so good people, and I started doing drugs. And we broke into my parents' house because I was trying to get my stuff, and the first time I went into the house, I did only take my own stuff. The second time, I told everybody where everything was, and while I was getting my stuff, they took other stuff. And we stole my car. My mother had my car. I took my car. So, later that day, I'm living in Ohio, and here comes the SWAT team. They bust down the door and they arrest me on TV. I was on the news getting arrested at 20 years old. After I had just graduated high school, did 2 years in one, was getting my life back on track, I just threw it all away. Because I was still angry. I was still in pain. I needed to be numb. When I got out, I had nowhere to go. Nowhere. So my friend who had introduced me to those wrong people said, "Hey, I have my own apartment now. If you watch my son, I will give you a place to live." So I lived there for 6 months, and she tried telling me that I owed her rent and everything when I was cooking, cleaning, taking care of her kid, which is a full-time job. I never paid her the rent. I never did any of that because that wasn't our agreement. When her mom started getting on me about paying rent, my dad and stepmom allowed me to move back home. At this time, I had already met Talon's dad. So after a year of being on and off again with him, we moved in together, and I found out I was pregnant with Talon. At this time, I was on probation, and he was cheating on me the whole time, and decided that he wanted to be with the other person. So he kept calling my probation officer and telling my probation officer that I was doing drugs again and that I was drinking and that I was violating my probation. So my probation officer, even though I was blowing clean and I was dropping clean, he's like, "I can't just ignore these. So they sent me back to jail while I was pregnant for 3 months. When I got out, I went and I lived with my parents, my dad and my stepmom. And I worked my butt off to never be that type of person again. I had a reason to change, and I did. And I've never looked back, and I'm never going to be that type of person again, because I have not just one child, but 2. And there's more to the story, but this is getting a little long. But it's been 5 years since I've really had any type of relationship with my mother. I decided that it was best that I just give up, which is sad. It is very sad. She is in my children's lives. She is occasionally present in mine. But when it comes down to it, we don't talk. I have a stepmother who is my mom. I have a biological mother who is a stranger. And I'm okay with that. And I can never forgive her for what she's done to me, what she's allowed to happen to me. I can forgive my stepbrother for what he did, but I cannot ever forgive Loopy for what she has done to me, for how she has treated me, for how she has neglected me. I can never forgive her for that. But I have learned not to allow my children to be treated that way. I tell my children every single day how much I love them. I live my life and I do everything for my children. And I work hard to make sure that I can be a better mother to them than what I had. So that is only part of the tragic past of mine. If you need any support, if you're going through anything that was similar, if you have a problem, there are places to get help. They always say asking for help is the first step. Realizing you have a problem, asking for help, they go hand in hand. It's not the first step. The first step is wanting to realize that you have a problem. Because I knew I had a problem. I knew I needed help. But I didn't want it. I had to want it to get help. And as soon as I felt my son kick for the first time, as soon as I knew he was a boy, as soon as I saw that little peanut in the sonogram, I knew I wanted the help. And I did the program. Am I an alcoholic? No. Am I a drug addict? No. But I did the program so that I could know how to move forward, so that I didn't become that, because I don't want that. If you need any help, if you have any questions, please comment below. If you don't want to put your story out there like I have, message me or go on to, you can find me on Facebook. It's just my name, Abby Lynch. It's the same profile. Actually, no, it's not the same profile picture, but you'll know which one I am. It's a picture, I believe, of me, Jeremy, and the boys. There are 2 profiles, but I am the one that has the family picture. Go on there. You can friend request me. You can message me. I'm here for anybody that needs help, because when I needed it, I had my friends, and sometimes some people don't even have friends. And if you need somebody to support you, I'm here to do that for you. So please like this video, please share it. I'm not going to do the same sign off that I normally do, but if you know somebody that needs help, be there for them. Don't pressure them, don't push them, just be there for them. Be somebody that will listen to them. If they go through anything that I went through and they're thinking about suicide, let somebody know. Let somebody know that is professional so they can step in, because you might just save your friend's life. And my friend Jamie is my hero because she didn't care what anybody else thought. She did what she thought was best, and I love her. I love you, Jamie. Mwah. Love you. So yeah, thank you and have a great day.